Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Not to Solve. Today, I want to talk about something that I came across while researching for TEDx. I'm about to do or present a TEDx audition to pass and hopefully speak on TEDx. I've done this twice now. I've done it last year and I've failed miserably, but we don't need to go into that. So anyways, I was researching and trying to find the perfect topic to speak for TEDx, and I came across this topic that relates to creativity because my theme is about creativity, and I tried to research about the topic in which I could talk about, and I came across this topic which includes creativity and restraint. Now that's the only two keywords I remember from that topic. I don't know if they support the idea of creativity should exist with restraints or not, but I had this shower thought that didn't even happen in the shower, I guess is what you could say, or the best way you could describe this. I had it actually while I was zoning out, and this train of thoughts happened originally when I thought of the new technologies and the things that exist in our world already with like ChatGPT and Google and stuff. And I thought that creativity should exist with restraints and limits. Now, hear me out. I thought about this using the same logic as how life isn't life and life isn't beautiful without its ugly. Life should exist with a perfect neutral balance of ugly and beautifulness, which refers to the ugly emotions, which in this case you could say sadness, anger, jealousy, and stuff, and the good and the beautiful, which is happiness and whatnot, right? I just feel that with the same logic applied, creativity shouldn't exist with all the resources you have in the world, because that kind of makes your product or the things that you create less valuable. Because when you have limited resources and you try to create stuff with your whole heart, you mean it and you become vulnerable with your art. When you lack or have this sense of deprivation, when it lingers and shows in your art, that is what makes it beautiful. That is what I feel is the art that resonates with people, that connects with people and bonds and ties them together. The funny thing is that when we create art, we often believe that when you create art and when you do stuff that relates to creativity, you need all the resources you can get, like all the fabric in the world and all the texture and textiles, material, the colors, and every single thing that you imagine completely, like out of thin air. You need to have them prevailed in your art. But I feel that when you think of something, imagination is a wild, wild place. You can think of anything. Anything can pop up in your head, right? So when something amazing but like also unrealistic pops up in your head, and you kind of try your best to mold and shape according to your imagination with the lack of resources, and it still works and the message still delivers, that's the art that is the most powerful. The thing about life is that with its balance of ugly and beautifulness, I feel that you wouldn't appreciate the good without the ugly. You wouldn't appreciate the happiness without the despair and the anger. Because when you always feel happy most of the time, then you won't be able to appreciate it because it's always there, it's always been there, and it's always going to be there. So you know what to expect. And when things are always expected and very predictable, then your life isn't going to be any good. It's going to be colorless, almost like you're living a lifeless life. So when you go through some sort of like storm or like despair, that shakes up your whole entire world, and then you start to feel happiness again. That is when life becomes beautiful, and that is when happiness is truly something to be grateful for, something that you live for and look forward to every single day. That is what makes life worth living, is the unpredictability of the balance with ugly and beautifulness. And creativity is a symbol of life. Because when you think about it, everything that exists in this world often can be translated into some sort of metaphor for an aspect of life, or even just life as a whole. You can always think of it like that. And yeah, that's all I have for today. I'm gonna keep it short here, and I hope you have a great, wonderful, lovely night or day, depending where you're from.